Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tara and I make videos about digital planning and different ways that you can get creative with your iPad. So if that sounds like something that's of interest to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss a video. That all being said, let's go ahead and jump into the purpose of today's video, which is going to be going over my weekly setup for the month of October. If you missed it, I did do this as a live stream, so I will link that up in the cards. But I will warn you that this particular live stream was a bit of a struggle to get started, and it ended up starting about 20 to 25 minutes later than it was supposed to because I was having some serious technical issues. So I was a little flustered and definitely was not my best live stream, but this is a learning process, so I appreciate you sticking around with me. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the actual planning now. And I've been feeling a bit stressed out lately, so I was brainstorming some different ways to just kind of help keep me on track. And so I decided to take a look at some previous months and see what I did. And this particular thing here, this to-do, doing and done that I did in April is absolutely one of my favorite things. It just really helps me to organize myself when I have a ton of tasks going on, so I can create a list and just kind of move them along, and it helps me feel accomplished. So I do want to do something like that. I also considered using the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize my things like I did in February, but I decided against it for this particular layout, but I don't know, it might show up in the daily plan. We'll have to see. I decided I was going to use the Autumn Shades color palette. I just really enjoy this. It's a little bit darker, but it's still very autumnal, and I don't know, I just enjoy the colors and wanted to use them for my weekly setup. So now I've gone in with my pre-made element that I have that covers up everything on the border and the heading, and I just sized that to fit in the space. And then I went back to February actually, and I decided I was going to grab this whole weekly calendar that I have here, and I was just going to copy it and paste it. Then I'm just grabbing my image tool and I'm just getting rid of basically all of the images and the handwriting that I don't want in here. So I also use my eraser for that. I erase the numbers. And now before editing this, I went in and I added in my colors. So I'll go ahead and pop those up on the screen and just zip through this really quickly. I typically do this beforehand, but since I've been live streaming, I thought it would make more sense to do it with the audience just in case others don't have it saved yet. And this time I did remember to shut the sticker off. Woohoo! So then with my lasso tool and handwriting selected, I just changed this to one of those presets. So I went with the red color. And then I went into my sticker pack and I found one of my sticky notes with the same red color. And I'm just going to paste that and then crop it down to a rectangle that I can size to fit this space. So then with my image tool, I delete the green one and then I decided to copy this little red one while it's at this size and then stretch it out so that lengthwise it fits the calendar. And then I went and pasted it again, so now I know the width is consistent. And I'm just going to resize this so that it fits nicely. And then turning on text boxes only, I just circle the space where all of the text boxes are with the days of the week and I just cut them and pasted them on top. So I know I want to do something a little bit differently this week. I want to use my habit tracker as more of a routine tracker. So I'm grabbing two of them and I'm just going to size these to have them fill in this left margin over here. And then I'm just going to copy each one of these and I'm going to start by just cropping down a small rectangle in the same color so that I can cover up the word habits. So once I'm happy with that, I just do the same thing for this teal sticker. So just copy and paste it and then crop it down into a small little square and size it to fit over the word habits. The next thing I'm going to do is move on to the right hand margin. So I'm going to grab this little sort of like chalkboard or however you want to look at this sticker. And I'm going to put this board over here and I'm going to do a similar thing to what I did during the monthly plan with me. So basically I'm just going to size it how I want it and then I'm going to copy and paste it at that size. Tap to crop it and then just crop off that top part. And then I'm just going to layer it on top so it just looks like one big sticker without the image being distorted. I'm also going to come back and I'm going to grab these gems. And these are what I'm going to use for my dates. So I just size it until I'm happy with the size. I want them basically the same size as the numbers that are already there. And then I'm going to put them in place. Copy and paste the last three. And now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to work with my Midnight Magic font. So if you are on my Patreon, whether it's a free tier or any of the paid tiers, I actually gave this font away as a freebie. So feel free to download that just by subscribing to my Patreon. Like I said, you can get it in the free tier. Or if you prefer, you can just use the stickers. But the nice thing about using the font is you can change the color to anything that you want. So I'm just copy and pasting my text box below and then changing both of these to white. And then I'm just pasting the text again and I'm adding a text box to the background and I want it to be square. So I just kind of play around with this until I get a look that I like, but essentially I want it to be square and I want to increase the padding quite a bit, which I end up realizing later and I go back and adjust it a little bit more. But then I type in October. And now this is the part where I go back and I adjust the padding to the most it can be, which is 20 points. And then I size it so that the width is the same as the calendar. And now that I've got this extra space underneath October, I'm going to take this font and I'm going to type in the letters for the days of the week. And then I'm just going to resize that so that it's small and increase the spacing between the letters so that it lines up with the dates underneath. I'm going to paste this text one more time while I've got it on my clipboard, and I'm just going to go in, and what you see me doing here is I use the date 23 because I think it's a pretty wide combination of numbers. And so what I decide to do is just make sure that it fits and that I like the sizing of it within the little gem here. And once I'm happy with the size, then I feel like I should be pretty set for the rest of the month without having to resize these. And I just change the color to white so that it's a little easier to read. And start fixing the dates so that they match what they are supposed to be. I do it this way because I think this is the best option. You could handwrite them, and that's definitely the easiest, but it's certainly not as cute. And if you use the stickers here, you might end up, especially in Goodnotes, having some issues with the layering. So a lot of times if you have a bunch of sticker layers and they're sized to be pretty small, Goodnotes seems to give you a little bit of trouble, or at least it does for me. So in order to avoid that, instead of putting a bunch of stickers on top and having to delete them each time, I just decided that I was going to change it to a font and use the font to edit the dates. I add the text one more time and I start filling in this board with my to-do, doing, and done sections. Then I just size them until I'm happy and sort of move them around until I like the way it looks. And I was really starting to feel stumped on how I wanted to decorate the rest of this. So what I ended up doing was just copying all of the stickers and then bringing them over. Now, I don't know if I necessarily recommend doing it this way, but this is what I did because I just really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And you'll see that because from here on out, I kind of just play around with things and figure out what I think looks good. I can tell you it was not these candles. They just weren't working for me. I used my Midnight Magic font to type in October, and then I realized that the spacing between the letters was just too much for my liking. But unfortunately in Goodnotes, you can't adjust the kerning between letters. You can only adjust the line spacing, and that's not going to help us here. So what I end up doing is just highlighting all of the spaces in between the letters, and I just bring those down to an 80-point font. And then I just use my lasso tool with text boxes only selected, and I just kind of move this to the center until I'm happy, and then I tap and change the color to the blue preset that I have. Again, if any of this is going too fast for you, remember that I did do a live stream which breaks it all down very slowly and in real time if you want to follow along. Now I'm moving these candles out in case I find a place to use them later. Spoiler alert, I don't. But then I add in these bats just to give it a little bit of a spooky vibe, and I really enjoy adding that. I think that looks really nice. And then I just place some stars around randomly. Again, I'm really digging this. I think it looks very cute. And I'm taking a couple moths and moving them around this board here so that it has a little bit of decoration. And now I've got this open section which I'm just not quite sure what to do with. And so again, I really start to play around here where I just kind of see what works. I like having the cauldron in the bottom, and these books, I just love these books. A lot of what you see here will end up changing, but the cauldron does stay. I do like that. And I just play around and have fun, and I really hope that you do this too. I hope that you just kind of allow yourself to explore your creativity with these stickers and just have a good time. Sometimes the first thing you try to do just doesn't work, and that's okay. It's all about the creative process. So test things out, delete things, add new things, crop things, just have some fun with it. Here I'm using the freehand crop with the cauldron sticker, and I'm just taking the sort of like magical steam or whatever you want to call it that floats above the top, and I'm putting it over top of one of my potion bottles and just resizing it until it looks nice. And then to make it look a little bit more magical, I'm going to go in and add some of these stars on top, and I really love the way this turns out. I think it looks so beautiful, and I hope that you guys try something like this in your planner too. It was a ton of fun. So I'm resizing those together and putting them on top of my books that I had cropped down into individual ones and then stacked them on top of each other. I'm just playing around with some layering here, deciding what I like and don't like. And then ultimately I decide to use this bird cage and the raven, so I just make sure that I paste the bird cage on top so that the raven stays behind it. Looks like it's actually kind of inside of the bird cage. So now with my lasso tool and just making sure that images only is turned on, I'm just going to go in and lasso all these stickers and just get rid of them. But I do decide to go around one spider because I want to keep one spider and add it as a little decoration. I put it on top of my crystal ball here, and I just think that that makes it so much more special. And I'm not quite ready to part with the skull and crossbones that I created, but I do eventually delete that. And I'm just about finished here, but I did realize that I forgot to change the words on my second tracker. So I changed this to night. Basically, I'm trying to work on some new routines. I want to develop a better morning routine and a nighttime routine because I think this is the main time in our days that we actually might be able to afford a little extra time, because I just feel like the middle of the day is always so crazy. And so I'm going to work on using this to track my routines and helping me to work in some better beginnings and ends to my days. Okay, and I think that just about covers it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to watch the live if anything was confusing to you. I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!